That's very interesting about Kenya is that we have a lot of SACCOs, savings and credit unions, or savings and credit cooperative societies.
Yeah.
And how they basically work is they help their members to save, to invest, and they have different products that they offer them. And people have actually done amazing things with SACCOs. And so I've actually gotten involved in one where there was land in a place called Malili, and a few of us got together and bought this land from a member of the SACCO.
Yeah.
And so first of all, we had to become members of the SACCO and then bought the land. And so I've always had this thing at the back of my mind, you know, is it safe investing in land specifically through the SACCO, and just looking to hear what your thoughts are around that.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I generally discourage people from engaging in land transactions where there are no ready transferable title deeds.
Okay.
So schemes like those, group ranches, a lot of them operate that way.
Okay.
SACCOs, you know, you're securing your investment shillings or dollars with allotment letters or share certificates.
Yes.
Those are all privately administered documents by the limited company or entity that is a group, right? And
Yes.
so you can't do searches on your particular piece of land.
Yeah.
Because up to that point they're sitting on a single title deed for the
Yes.
entire parcel.
Yeah.
So for me that's a very risky way to invest, just because you have no idea what's going on in the background, and your due diligence is limited to the mother parcel. And in cases where you have thousands of buyers being allocated pieces of land from the same mother parcel, that can be tricky. And that's why we've had cases of double, triple, quadruple allocation of the same parcel to different people.
Wow.
Because none of these individuals can check on things unless, you know, the directors or the people running this group open up their books and are willing to be audited and scrutinized, and so, which never happens. Legally speaking, they're not obligated to, because it's a private entity. Until such a time that it becomes a publicly traded company, then they have to make certain disclosures for compliance. It'll never happen. So I generally stay away just because of that fact alone. And, you know, worst comes to worst, you try and make it a legal recourse type of solution. It becomes a case of she said, he said. Because those private documents could easily be destroyed. And you're left hanging.
Wow, that's a scary thought. That's a scary
I mean,
thought.
the spirit behind these schemes was noble.
Yes,
and
it's
in the early days, that's how places like Laikipia, Nanyuki in particular, got passed down from the colonial government basically to the locals, who then sold to group ranches or land buying companies, which was comprised of members of certain communities depending on the area or region of the country. And then that's how the land is passed on today commercially. You buy and sell. So without these kind of schemes, the normal citizen would have had no access to land ownership, because they existed in very large parcels from independence. A single individual or even 100 couldn't afford to buy. So they came up with these schemes where there were thousands of shareholders who would then pool funds to buy over time, and then at some point they subdivided and allocated as per share to each member. So the beginnings of these schemes were noble, but they've become corrupted. There's a lot of greed, a lot of opacity. I've used that word a number of times
today.
I mean, I couldn't stress that enough. There is no transparency. The due process is simple. It's not rocket science. a standard 4 student can follow the due process. It's just not known, and for whatever reason, the government agencies who are the stakeholders don't do their part to publicize and let the public know what the due process is supposed to be. And so all these factors kind of create a perfect storm scenario where it becomes very easy for private individuals like ourselves to get duped or tied into something that doesn't really confer value to us at the end, because everything is managed privately.
You know, because there's so many Kenyans who are in that situation, including me. What would your advice be for those who've bought land using SACCOs and don't actually have a physical title, or a title to the land? What would your advice be in terms of just making sure that everything is in order, the paperwork and all that?
Well, like I've said before, if you don't know what the due process is, and you don't have the time to be engaged on a full-time basis with follow-through, work with licensed advocates of the High Court, those who specialize in conveyancing, who can take this up for you and make the demands on the entities to provide you the securities you need. Other than that, just be okay with the fact that it's a very high risk profile you've exposed or created for yourself. You've exposed yourself to some serious risk, and if things go south, that's just the way it's gonna go. But in the interim, try and press the officials, those who are in charge of running these groups, to provide you the specific documents to prove that there is actually progress and that things on the ground are in line with what's being told to you.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Wow.
Either that or simply pull out and ask for refunds.
Yeah, but we bought the land like 9 years ago.
Right. Yeah. So you lose out.
The gain in value
is
exactly huge. Right. And so it's like, okay, I'd rather just wait. Perhaps look for another buyer who's willing to take that risk. And wait for the SACCO to then get titles and dish them out to all the different landowners. Well, this has been interesting. Thanks for that detailed response. So you are watching All Access. We've been on a journey to Nanyuki and just trying to understand land and how to invest in land and what not to do and what the right questions are that you should ask. If you have any questions, please do post them on the comment section and I'll get Solomon to respond, or I'll do my research and also find out for you. And yeah, do subscribe if you haven't. Have a wonderful day.